Hello, my stamping friends. My name is Holly Peterson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Today, I'm going to show you how I made this fun fall card. This is called, the technique is Joseph's Coat, and I'm going to show you how I did that. I will be using the artistic leaves, and it is a two-step stamp set. For the Joseph's Coat part, we're just going to be using the images that have the more line detail in them. And I have all of our supplies here. We have Cajun Craze that measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We have a basic white layer, 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. Secret Sea, 4 by 5 1/4. Old Olive, 3 3/4 by 5. And basic white, 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I have 2 pieces of this ribbon. When I tie a knot like this, I like to just wrap one piece around the card and then use this one to tie a knot around it. I'll show you how we do that once we get there. Okay, so we're going to start with this white piece here. And we definitely need scrap paper. Oh, I might get something bigger here. I use one of these grid sheets here. Okay, we're going to start off using crushed curry, Cajun Craze, and Old Olive. And you're going to just ink blend this whole piece of white paper here. I guess that's okay. I've got a bunch of ink on the back of that, but that's okay. You just do this randomly, wherever. And the darker you make your ink blending, the darker that they'll pop once we do the Joseph's Coat part. The next color I'm going to do is Old Olive. And you'll see I got a really dark spot, excuse me, a really dark spot there. I don't think that's going to matter much once we get the rest of our ink blending done here. Okay, we'll come in with some crushed curry. And like I said, we're going to fill in this whole layer here with these colors. And if you overlap a little bit, that's fine. Okay, so now that we have that done, probably the most important thing to do with this technique is to make sure you use your embossing buddy. This ink is wet and we don't want our embossing powder to stick all over the place. We only want it to stick where we're going to stamp. So I'm just gonna pounce some powder all over this. Because even though that ink is dry to the touch, it's not all the way dry. Okay, that should be good. And then we're going to, like I said, we're going to use the image that has more line detail. And we're going to use the large stamp and this smaller stamp. And we're going to stamp with Versamark ink. Versamark ink is a clear, sticky ink, so it doesn't dry right away. So it gives you some time to apply your embossing powder. So I think we'll do that one there. And I like to come off the page and turn them different ways. I know you guys probably can't see that on the video, but I can see where the ink is pretty good. And again, I'm just stamping all over. Maybe one more down here. Right in there. Okay, the next step is going to be to use our clear embossing powder. And I've got a tray here that I'm going to use. And we're just going to sprinkle this embossing powder all over this. The nice thing about this tray, it comes with our embossing toolkit, Essentials Toolkit, I think is what it's called. And it comes with a tray and the embossing buddy and tweezers and a brush. Okay. I just want to make sure I've got that coated really good. And I think we've got it good. Just get that excess off. I'm just going to step off to the side here real quick and heat emboss this. I'll be right back. Real quick, I see here where I have some powder that I don't want. You think that's better? Okay, now I can just pour this back in my little container here. You can also use this this paintbrush, to help get that excess powder back into the container. Okay. We'll put our lid back on there and get that put away. Okay, here comes the fun part. Now, get rid of all that embossing powder. Now what we're going to do, and I've just freshly re-inked my Secret C. You want to use the end that is closer to the frame. You don't want to use this big end here. And what you're going to do is you're going to just drag the ink over the entire piece here. And to do this technique, you want to use a pretty dark color to drag across the paper. Okay, I think that looks good. So put that away. And then you want to wipe off all of the embossed leaves. I forgot to grab a towel here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wipe the leaves off, and do you see how that makes it pop really nice? And then it does take all that excess ink off of there for us. I see where I had that excess powder. I think you can maybe see that on there. I'll just tie my ribbon around that section. I've got a little spots over here too that maybe had a little bit of powder on them. But overall, I think the technique is really cool and it's fun to do. Get rid of that. Now, all we're going to do is layer up our card. So we'll bring back these pieces. Again, this is Cajun Craze. And we're going to put our Secret C layer first. This Secret Sea is one of the new in colors this year, and I absolutely love this color. It's so rich looking. Okay, and then we're going to adhere our stamped layer to our old olive. And I'm going to put extra adhesive, I think, on this. When you emboss your paper, it kind of curls it a little bit. So I'm just going to help that stay flat. And that just layers here. And then I'm going to take my longer piece of ribbon. And what I like to do, normally I put a glue dot on the back of the ribbon and attach it to the back. But with this ribbon being so open and weavy, I am just taking a piece of Scotch tape and sticking it down. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to the card front. And I think I like it going this way versus this way. I think I like it this way. Then we'll take this piece of ribbon, slide it underneath here, and we'll just tie it in a knot. And then if you wanted to trim your ends down, you could do that. I think I kind of like them long. Okay, so that's the front of the card. Now for the inside, I stamped with Cajun Craze. And I think we'll do this image full strength. Or maybe I want this one stamped off. And then the layer that we used with Versamark ink, let me clean that off. I'm just going to use my chamois, kind of wipe that off a little bit. And then we'll do this full strength. Oh yeah, I like that. And then I did sponge a little bit of old olive. I just want to make sure that that's dry. I don't want to smear that. just to add a little bit of background color around that. And then we'll use the Secret Seed. And I have Celebrate Today for the inside. And this comes from that same stamp set. Perfect. Close that up. And then we will attach that to the inside. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the envelope. So we'll do this one stamped off. And then the line image, full strength. It's kind of hard to see through this stamp. Not too bad. Cool. And then if you wanted to, you could sponge this as well. And there we have our card using the Joseph's Coat technique. Thanks for stopping by and watching my video. I appreciate it.